Hi, I'm Dan Hubner, Technical Sales Director for Heartline Fitness. I'm here today to talk to you about AtmosAir. AtmosAir is headquartered in Fairfield, Connecticut. They started as an air testing company in 2004. Of course, if you're testing air, you'd like to be able to treat the air and improve it and when you have the results. So they searched for and found and patented bipolar ionization air treatment technology, which they call AtmosAir. They patented this in 2008. They're in over 8,000 buildings. Some of the markets they serve include commercial offices, healthcare, including hospitals, schools, hospitality, hotels, government facilities. I think, this gives us an overview of where they are. But how does it work? Let's take a moment and watch a short video on how it works.
You've probably heard someone say, "I'm going outside to get some fresh air," as if the air inside isn't fresh, right? Well, often it's not. Inside air can be loaded with airborne allergens, bacteria, odors, and other harmful particles and pollutants. They can make people sick, less productive, or absent from work, and all are costly to employers. Many of these contaminants spread from the inside, which means they're out of the reach of typical air filtration systems. Since we spend 90% of our lives inside, shouldn't we be paying more attention to inside air? That's why we developed AtmosAir. AtmosAir is the only indoor air purification technology that works proactively and within a space to reduce contaminants and pollutants. It restores inside air to what you'd find on a mountaintop. From offices to hospitals, stadiums to schools, AtmosAir provides health and wellness benefits to keep occupants feeling healthier and more productive. Here's how it works. When outdoor air comes into a building, oxygen molecules are carried over specially designed bipolar ion tubes. An energy field converts these molecules into positively and negatively charged ions. These ions then travel into occupied spaces to seek out oppositely charged bad air particles, VOCs, and odors. When they combine, it forces them to break down and drop out of our breathing range to reduce contaminant levels and improve our health and wellness. And to show you it's working, our AtmosAware indoor environment sensors and monitoring system allow you to see your air quality in real time. AtmosAir lets you confidently design HVAC systems according to ASHRAE's indoor air quality procedure, the more sustainable alternative to the ventilation rate procedure. The IAQP is approved by the EPA, USGBC, and is ASHRAE and IMC compliant. AtmosAir's purification delivers the cleanest indoor air possible, while also enabling reductions in outside air intake for significant energy savings and lower equipment costs on new and retrofit projects. Only AtmosAir gets you cleaner, mountain-fresh inside air and sustainable energy savings, plus proven results that remove up to 95% of ultrafine particles and up to 90% of VOCs. It can minimize HVAC system size by up to 15% and reduce outside air intake by up to 50%. Plus, save up to 30% on HVAC electrical costs with an average 3-year installation cost payback, all while contributing to LEED and WELL building standards. Get the purest inside air, only with AtmosAir.
So that video provides a good high-level look at how AtmosAir works and what some of the benefits are. But let's dig a little bit deeper. How do we know these things? Well, we have expert testimony. Dr. Philip Tierno from New York University, and I'm going to read this because it'll just I'll be more clear about it and get it right. Bipolar ionization causes production of clusters of hydroxyl radicals, which are formed on the surfaces of microbes, removing hydrogen from the microbe's cell wall, thereby killing them. It can reduce 99% of microbes in a matter of minutes. Ions work in a continuous fashion to disinfect the air. So if you're like me and your high school chemistry is a little rusty, we have a nice model here to clarify and illustrate what Dr. Tierno says. Coming in from the left side, you can see positive and negative ions are introduced into the air by the Atmos system. The OH radicals are formed when ions attach to the proteins that protrude from the membrane of the virus. In this case, it's hooking onto a spike, which I think we've all become kind of familiar with during COVID-19 days. The OH radicals will steal a hydrogen from the virus and return to the air as water, leaving holes in the membrane, essentially inactivating the virus. Now we want to emphasize this is all happening on the supply side, and it's actually in the space operating continuously. We're going to have methods for monitoring this as well. We'll discuss those shortly. So it works on bacteria, it works on viruses, but we also want to point out it works on mold, it works on indoor allergens. Over here on the right side, now you may need to move the video a little bit to read this, but I'll just go through it some for you. This is a hit list of some pretty tough bugs: Clostridium difficile, Staphylococcus, Bacillus, H1N1, coronavirus, avian influenza virus. It works on all these. In addition to bacteria, viruses, and germs, it reduces particulate matter. And it does this essentially by agglomerating onto, grabbing hold of the particles, building up the size of them, and as they grow, they'll be either filtered out by your air filtration system, or they can drop to the floor because they've become heavier. In addition, it'll reduce volatile organic compounds. It does this by breaking down the hydrocarbon chains. It's kind of like, it's oxidation, kind of like rust, hence the picture of the Statue of Liberty in the upper right-hand corner with that nice copper rusty patina. So we have expert testimony, but we have the lab test, which is what they're basing this on. They've tested numerous germs, VOCs, bacteria, allergens. This is a little bit of a synopsis of some of the things they've tested. And here are some of the labs they've been in. They're very big on testing at AtmosAir to show their results. And so here are some of the labs they've worked with: the University of Syracuse. They've worked with Microchem. They've done their homework. The elephant in the room, the one we all want to know about, of course, is coronavirus. And they did do a test, and they announced the results in June 2020. They're verified by one of the preeminent labs for testing by EPA and FDA registered, that they're able to reduce coronavirus by 99.92% within 30 minutes. So they've said it, they've established it, they've tested it, it works on coronavirus. They did use a surrogate virus, if you will, that's the term they say. They used coronavirus 229E. You can't use COVID-19, it's just too hot, it's not available for this kind of testing in laboratories at this point. But COVID is a coronavirus, and it's been shown not to be especially difficult to kill. It's problematic for us, of course, but it's not especially difficult to kill. It's like other coronaviruses. In summary, AtmosAir will reduce dust and particulate matters. It'll reduce odors. It'll reduce mold. It'll reduce VOCs. It kills bacteria and viruses. What we haven't discussed is that it also can improve your energy conservation. How does it do this? Well, first and foremost, it reduces the outside air requirement. If the air is cleaner, you don't have to bring in as much air. So that means you have less air from the outside to be heated and cooled. So it's possible to realize these on the front end, during the design phase and get CapEx benefits. But there are also operational benefits just from extending the life of filters, extending the life of HVAC equipment, and reducing the heating and cooling costs. This is where AtmosAir is installed. It's installed in the supply side of your ductwork. On the left, we have a pretty big installation. This would be, typical for a larger building where you're doing the whole facility. And then this gives you a bit of a visual on how it goes on. Another method of installation. This is in the plenum of a big HVAC unit. But over on the right, this would be more typical. This is their Matterhorn unit. It would be perfect for a smaller space such as a fitness room, which is what we're primarily concerned with. But AtmosAir has provided expert testimony. They have done their testing. They also are inviting you to see how they're doing. Now, their in-duct monitoring system is primarily for a bigger system. Let's take a look at what we would usually recommend. For a fitness room, they have this handy SenseEdge in-room air quality monitoring system. It's monitoring particulates, it's monitoring CO2, it's monitoring VOCs. It can't measure pathogens, but by extension, if it's working on all these things and you're in the green zone, you can be confident that it's killing pathogens at the same time. It can be visible for your tenants or for your trainees, or you can cover it. They provide a handy cover so that you can just take a look at it when you want. In addition, if you're managing multiple properties, you could get their app and just check the properties individually on your phone. So how is AtmosAir different than other systems? We've chosen UV light because it provides one of the clearest contrasts. The main thing is UV light's effective. It's a good system, but it doesn't actually operate right in the room. You have to wait until the particulates, the pathogens come back through on the return and then go through the UV light. Whereas AtmosAir is operating continuously in the space. And just as a side note, the amount of contact time the contaminants have with UV light is in the milliseconds or even nanosecond range. And sometimes this doesn't allow enough time for a thorough reaction of the contaminants in the unit, much less in the space. It's kind of like you could draw your hand through a flame quickly and not be burnt. There are other alternative indoor air quality methods we know, and we can explore those and discuss the benefits of AtmosAir in comparison with them. But I think the critical point is that it does operate in the space. It even works on the surfaces. Obviously, air is in contact with the surfaces. The bipolar ions are in the air. They contact the surfaces and can operate on pathogens and right in the space and on the equipment. So that's an important point. But in addition, AtmosAir is really the only one out there that's providing good indoor air quality monitoring with things like their SenseEdge indoor air quality monitor. So let's take a look at who has it. They've been out there, as we noted, since 2008. They didn't start into this 6 months ago with coronavirus. They've got installations in Shanghai. They've got installations all around the world for commercial properties, multifamily. They're even in some prestigious healthcare projects, for example, Johns Hopkins Hospital. I'll draw your attention to that one because we know what a fine institution that is, and we have that here locally where I am. We also have schools, universities. They've even done the Staples Center, as well as many of the Soul Cycle locations, so which would be more typical to what we would see as a fitness room. They're in hotels. Hilton Hotel has done some work with them to clear the air in space right in the hotel rooms where they've put in small fitness centers, individualized for the guests. So here, that's the end of our presentation, and we'll just leave this slide up so you know how to reach us. we can work with you to complete a site survey and get you a quote so that you can see how this might fit into your budget. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.